Read the following commercial with an attitude of warning. Every time I wash a dish, Breft helps protect the family, as no suds ever could before. Perhaps I didn't know that danger lurks in the dishpan. But it's there. Public health authorities say that glasses and dishes clouded with dishwater film are a menace to the family's health. Doctors have found that even dishes that you've scrubbed hard and polished carefully, dishes that really look clean, often carry this germ-laden film. So play safe. Cleano. Cleano's the amazing new dishwashing discovery leaves no dishwater film. It actually does help protect the family. Cleano's suds will leave dishes shining bright even without wiping. Healthy clean, like you could only dream. So, heed the warning of public health authorities and help protect the family. Avoid germ-carrying dishwater film. Buy Cleano today. Exercises. Read the following commercial with an attitude of enthusiasm. Sure, the weather's still cold, but spring is just around the corner. Be ready to swing into spring and into happy summer motoring too, in a new or quality used car from Charlie's Car Mart. Charlie's have superior quality, new and gently used cars, and their prices are low, low, low. See this special on for today only. This 1996 forest green Chevrolet with radio, power seat and windows and steel-belted radial tires, automatic transmission, and carrying Charlie's famous Okie Dokie guarantee. Check Charlie's big display ad in tonight's local paper for many more of these special values, then swing into spring with a new or quality used car from Charlie's Car Mart, 1990 Main Street, downtown Main Street, south, opposite Union Station. Lesson 4. Vocal tone. Good tone production begins with a supporting column of air pushed up from the diaphragm. It also depends on a relaxed body in a position of good posture, whether you're sitting or standing, relaxed neck muscles, a loose lower jaw, and an open throat. Let's review these requirements one at a time and see what can be done to enhance the production of a rich, relaxed tone. You know the theory of diaphragmatic breathing, and we will assume that everything in that department is now under control. Now, what about the business of good posture? There's much more involved than standing or sitting ramrod straight. So let's forget the parade ground approach and take a closer look at the definition of good posture as it applies to tone production. If you're in a sitting position, don't slouch back in the chair with the middle of the back bowed outward. You'll understand why if you'll assume that position and try breathing from the diaphragm. I have very little control over the breathing muscles. Try sitting forward on the chair, almost on the edge, and lean slightly forward. Keep the middle back straight and assume a spectator attitude. Now flex my breathing muscles. Notice the difference? Feet flat on the floor, just like a good typist. The secret here is not to bow the middle back. It's fine to bend forward, but pivot from the hips. This way, I have full control over the diaphragm. In a standing position, the secret of good diaphragmatic support is to lean slightly forward, put my weight on the balls of my feet. If my weight is shifted back on my heels, the abdominal wall will sag, and I would not have the same control. When I was a rookie announcer and had never heard of a diaphragm, I was in the studio watching one of the country's top name announcers on a big show. I asked him afterwards if there is any particular reason why he leaned forward every time he talked. He was kind enough to start explaining the facts of life. These are the little refinements that are the trademarks of the top pros. The neck muscles. Here's an excellent exercise for loosening tight constricting neck muscles. Imagine that my head is a basketball attached to the rest of the body by a string. I let my head fall forward to touch my chin to my chest. Now I rotate my head around slowly to the right, keeping my chin as close to my collarbone as you can. Now point my chin toward my shoulder and stretch as far as I can. I roll my head backward with my eyes on the ceiling. Stretch backward as far as I can. I finish the exercise pointing my chin slowly down over the left shoulder and tight against the collarbone and back to the central position. After a few days of diligent practice, I will notice improvement in those muscles when I exercise regularly. I open my mouth about halfway and move the jaw from side to side. push it to the full extremity on each side. This is another good one for loosening up the jaw hinge. In a standing position, lean forward from the hips and hang my head out from my body with my eyes facing the floor. Open my mouth and shake my head vigorously from side to side. The object is to flap the jaw loosely back and forth. The last physical requirement is an open throat. I referred to this in diaphragmatic breathing. All but 3 sounds in English come out of the throat. The only exceptions are the nasal consonants, M as in mother, N as in Norman, and NG as in ring. Now I lift the soft palate into a simulated yawning position. Breathe in, from the diaphragm of course, and feel the cool air against the back of my throat. At this moment, my throat is open, and that's the way to try and keep it. My throat is also wide open when I make the H sound, and that leads me to one of the better exercises for the smooth initiation of tone. Try making up sentences with words beginning with H, or practice the vowel sounds and precede them with the H sound as in hey, he, hi, ho, who. Speak easily and bring the sound forward in the mouth. Think of the sound as actually staring just behind the upper teeth ridge. This should always be the focal point. Let's try it. And remember, I am aiming for is a smooth, open-throated initiation of sound. The idea is to use a light pressure of air and let the sound flow out easily. Elongate the flowing sounds. Roll on, thou deep and dark blue ocean. Roll. 10,000 fleets sweep over thee in vain. Man marks the earth with ruin. His control stops with the shore upon the watery plain. The wrecks are all they deed, nor doth remain a shadow of man's ravage save his own, when for a moment, like a drop of rain, he sinks into thy depths with bubbling groan, without a grave unknown. This is the basic idea to get the sound flowing out smoothly. To review the necessary elements for good tone production: controlled breathing, a relaxed body in a position of good posture, relaxed neck muscles, a loose lower jaw and an open throat, an open mouth and sound aimed at a focal point just behind the upper teeth ridge. The real key, once again, is constant practice. Exercises. Lesson 5. Articulation. How to speak clearly. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. It is important to work on the area of articulation to be clearly understood. The physical tools I use are the tongue, teeth, soft and hard palates, lips, and lower jaw. Some of these parts are completely stationary, while the others are always on the move. Obviously, the hard palate, the teeth and teeth ridge are completely fixed. The soft palate moves up and down. It's in a raised position most of the time, but it moves down to seal off the mouth cavity on the 3 nasal sounds of M, N, and NG. The tongue is the most important organ to use well in order to speak clearly. It is constantly moving up and down and needs to be exercised to be as flexible as possible. I will get acquainted with my soft palate by running the tip of my tongue along the roof of my mouth. The bony part in the front and center is called the hard palate. As my tongue moves past the halfway mark, it will touch the soft palate. Vocal nasality is a common speech issue. The difficulty with a nasal voice is that the soft palate is remaining in a semi-closed position and allowing other sounds that should come out of the mouth to spill out from the nasal cavity. The only sounds that should come through the nose are M, N, and NG. Let's try a short sentence that does not contain a nasal consonant. The idea is to tightly hold my nose, then say that line without holding my nose. There should not be much difference in the sound. First, the sentence holding my nose. This is the day to practice clear speech exercises. That's now without holding my nose. This is the day to practice clear speech exercises. They sound very similar. Nasality is caused by a half-raised soft palate. Many people have a touch of nasal twang, and the way to overcome it is to keep consciously raising the soft palate into the yawning position. Of all the organs of articulation, the tongue has the greatest effect on clear speaking. It's constantly moving up, down, backward, and forward. The stronger and more flexible the muscles of the tongue, the better the chances of good, clear articulation. Regular. Exercise is the answer. Exercise 1. With my mouth slightly open, point my tongue straight out as far as possible. Point the tip and stretch. The more I stretch the tip, the more effective the exercise. Try to reach up and tuff my nose with the tip of my tongue. Now point it down and try to touch my chin. Exercise 2. Point the tongue straight out, mouth open wide, and move the tip of my tongue in the widest possible circle. Change the direction of the circular motion from left to right and from right to left. Exercise 3. Open the lower jaw. Point the tip of the tongue against the hard palate. Push hard and bend the back of the tongue toward the front of the mouth. Keep bending, pushing, flexing, much like a boxer stretching his arm and back muscles by pulling on the ropes. I keep at it day after day. These tongue exercises will take me a long way toward my goal of consistent, crisp, clear speech. The lips play a vital role in clear speech, and they too should get plenty of exercise. Mumbling is caused by lazy lips. If the lips move to an exaggerated extent, I get a precious, over-articulated sound. While we do not want exaggerated articulation in our normal speech, this is certainly a good way to practice reading if my lips are inclined to be lazy. In fact, if clear articulation is one of my problems, the more exaggeration I use in practice sessions, the better. The first treatment for lazy lips is to stretch them at the corners of my mouth. Hook my little fingers into the corners of my mouth and stretch the muscles. The two extreme lip positions for all sounds in English are the vowel sounds ee and oo. So an excellent way to enhance good lip movement is a daily drill moving them back and forth from these two extreme positions, ee-oo, ee-oo, ee-oo. A few minutes of this should be enough at one session, but make sure the sessions are frequent. The only other moving organ of articulation is the lower jaw. We covered it in the lesson on tone production, so it actually fits into both categories. It has a great effect on tone, and having it drop open easily is obviously vital to clear articulation. It's vital that I practice these exercises and do them 3, 4, or 5 times every day. It may take time before I am aware of the benefits. Eventually, I will attain the desired results. Good musicians spend hours every week practicing their techniques. To become a professional announcer with my vocal instrument, the same effort is required.